Hello, and welcome to the MSKTC webinar. Our purpose is to introduce you to the Engaging Policymakers online self-paced course. We hope that this brief introduction to the course will encourage you to register and learn more about how you, register for the course, and learn more about how you as a researcher can begin to or enhance your current engagement with this important partner in research and implementation. I did lead the design and development team, first for a facilitated and now this online self-paced course, and I'm very pleased to be able to give you a tour of that course. First, I just want to briefly mention that the MSKTC has 3 service areas to support the model systems in producing and disseminating knowledge. My role is to lead Service Area 2, KT Support to Grantees, which includes developing tools and resources, providing technical assistance and training, and collecting information about your model system's KT needs. We have conducted webinars on topics including outreach to audiences and measuring outcomes. We developed a compendium of model systems engagement with various audiences, and we continue to conduct consumer needs research. Recently, we concluded the second Model Systems Grantee Survey to learn about your KT needs and interests. The MSKTC serves the model systems researchers and in turn engages other audiences, including researchers, clinicians, individuals with spinal cord injury, traumatic brain injury, and burn injury, and policymakers. In the 2012 Model System Grantee Survey, and again in 2014, we found that policymakers were the audience that researchers were least engaged with. To promote greater engagement, we developed an online facilitated 3-week course last year. And what we found is that while the content was valuable, it was really difficult for staff to keep up with even a brief course. So we took the content from the facilitated course and turned it into an online self-paced course. And we created this course with the goals of increasing model system researcher engagement with policymakers, and also to provide a training option that's useful and flexible for busy schedules. Anticipated outcomes of the course include an understanding of the need to engage with policymakers, understanding the how to engage with policymakers and exchange information, and a solid grasp of KT strategies or tools to successfully facilitate this engagement and exchange. Through PowerPoint presentations and some interactive activities in the course, you'll learn how to pitch an idea to a policymaker, how to network in a way that's meaningful and interesting to the policymaker, how to evaluate a real model systems policy brief, and to address common barriers. How do you address common barriers to engaging with policymakers? There are some things we know about those barriers and things we know to do to overcome them. And the activities are great because they provide you immediate feedback so you can learn as you go. Here is a snapshot of the main page of the online self-paced course that was developed along, and at the top you'll see the URL for the course. You can go to the page, but you'll need to register for the course first, and you'll do that by emailing us at msktc@air.org, and you see that email address at the bottom of the screen. We'll show it to you again, but that's how you'll register for the course, and we will enroll you. Enrollment is limited to 3 months, and that's just because we have a limited number of seats. However, you can extend the time you need or re-enroll at any time. The evaluation form inside the course also allows you to provide us with input to additional topics that are relevant to you. So now let's visit the course. I'd like to show you some of the activities in the course. They're also fun learning tools. Now you'll see the Engaging Policymakers, a self-paced course at the top. This is what you'll see when you are registered and log in and select this course. On the left-hand side, you'll see some navigation buttons. General, Introduction, Topic 1, 2, and 3, and then Course Evaluation. That's all part of the course. You'll see an introductory text at the top of the page and a welcome message from Cindy Kai. She is one of the Model Systems Knowledge Translation co-project directors, and she is in a video format. There is also an accessible version The accessible version, there is an accessible version of absolutely all of the activities, and everything that we've got in the course has another visual, an alternate text that is readable by a screen reader and is 508 compliant. We have an introduction. The introduction is an introduction to engaging policymakers. It begins with a course introduction video, and that's really a series of PowerPoint slides with narration and closed captioning, but we also have a course introduction in the accessible version as well. There are course components, and then additional resources. So one of the things we learned during the facilitated course is that folks really liked having additional resources to share. And going down, so I had talked about the introduction, and there's topic 1, exploring the need to engage policymakers. Remember our goals for the course. First, why do we engage with them? In topic 2, how do we engage with them? And then in topic 3, what are some strategies and tools for engaging with them? So I'd like to show you, let's see, we have a presentation that you can view and learn, a reflection exercise, how you might become someone who sells your research, sells with quotes around it, and then a self-assessment in each week. In topic 2, I'd like to share with you our policy pitch activity, which is a really fun interactive activity. We call this the cocktail party, which you can see why on your screen. You are in the role of a model systems researcher. In fact, you are a Byrne model system researcher, and you've been invited to this all-day conference that a bunch of policymakers have been invited to, as well as researchers. And the idea behind this one-day conference is to help policymakers learn about the state of the issue. And it is your role to now engage with the policymaker. And you'll see on the left, what will you say to the policymaker that you meet this evening? So you've been in the sessions all day, and now you have a policymaker in front of you, and there she is. And so what we want you to do is to select the best opening statement on this screen, and the policymaker's interest level will change based on what you say. So if you start out with, "Hi, my name is Dr. So-and-so, how are you?" You get some immediate feedback that tells you, hey, just saying who you are isn't enough. Don't forget to add your affiliation. And we have some comical thought bubbles here just to make it fun. But her first thought, our policymaker, is, gee, someone's introducing themselves to me. I don't know who they are. Let me go on and find someone I do know. How about the second option? I'm Dr. So-and-so, and this is where I work. How are you? And that's good, but not quite where we want you to be, because you want to let the policymaker know that you bring credibility. And so the best option is actually the third option, because you've stated who you are, where you're from, and you've started to make a connection. You've invited a conversation. And so I won't go through all of them, because this is your activity and your learning activity, and I want you to practice that yourself. But you get an idea that this is a very interactive learning opportunity, not only because you get to read and participate and take on the role of someone else, but also because you get immediate feedback. We also have something called the Policymaker Challenge. Same idea. This is going to set you up with a scenario. We have a made-up traumatic brain injury model system. And based on the scenario and the objective and desired outcome of this made-up model system, you are being given a challenge. You've got to figure out which policymaker is the right one for you to connect with, and figure out how best to connect with them. So in this case, as you move your cursor over the photo image of each of these policymakers, we give you a little background on who they are, and that should help you decide if that's the right policymaker for you. So let's say we want someone from the TBI Association of America, and you click on that person in the box above, and immediately you get feedback. Okay, this is not the right person. He advocates for changes, but he's not funding clinical care or research, and that's what is one of the goals or objectives of this model system. And so you'll proceed on to the next challenge. Now you've got to figure out what's the goal statement and reminder, and then a little bit more of the scenario to help you understand what's going on with this model system that helps you go to the next place, which is how are you going to establish your relationship with the policymaker, and then we go on to talk about barriers and very specific activities you can do to overcome those barriers. And I'll show you just one more. I won't go into as much detail, but under topic 3, we've got an activity where you evaluate a policy brief. We're very fortunate that the Ohio State University Traumatic Brain Model System completed the facilitated course and actually completed a draft policy brief. They finalized it, but what we have in the course is the draft, and we wanted that intentionally so you'd have something to critique. You will be asked to download that policy brief. It's very, very brief. It's less than 4 pages, and also a rubric to help you evaluate it. And then in the activity, what you will do is evaluate it based on each element. You will select an answer, and you'll be given immediate feedback on why what the right answer is. And then we encourage you to keep that rubric on hand. If you decide to create a policy brief, you'll have a rubric to help you and others to evaluate your policy brief. And then finally, we have an evaluation course feedback form, and we strongly encourage you to complete the course feedback form and give us your feedback, not just on the course, but to help us think about other activities that you'd like to learn about. We also hope that you find the course fun and engaging. So far, we've gotten pretty good feedback on the ability to get immediate feedback and learn about about how to engage policymakers. So in a nutshell, the Engaging Policymakers Self-Paced course, it's open to everyone. It is based on model systems because that's the group of grantees we serve, but any researcher or clinician would find this, I think, helpful. There's a simple registration process, and at the bottom of the screen, again, you see how to contact us to enroll in the course. It is self-paced. That means you can stop in and stop out. It takes a total of 2 hours at the most. It depends on how quickly you move through, and you can do it individually or you can do it with a group of colleagues. In particular, if you're going to develop a policy brief, it's a good idea to have at least 2 or 3 folks developing that together. And the benefit of the course, we believe, is increased opportunities for research to inform policy. Okay, so what's next? I wanted to take this opportunity to let you know that we are planning future KT support for our Model Systems grantees. I mentioned earlier that we have conducted 2 grantee surveys. The most recent was administered in August 2014. We got a lot of very good feedback that included a request to focus on social media, not just what tools to use, but also how to plan and what resources are needed. We're developing a webinar on social media with our digital media expert here at AIR, and we're looking for model systems who are actively using social media to share their work. So if you are one of those model systems, please contact us. Additionally, we're continuing to expand the online KT toolkit. Next up is a policy engagement tips sheet that will reflect a lot of what's in the course and some additional information. Some of the online KT toolkit items already available now include guidelines for writing and testing in plain language, and also practical tips for responding to media requests, and more. Those are just a couple examples. So please continue to let us know what tools and information would be useful to you. Thank you for your time on today's webinar. We will post a recording of this webinar on the MSKTC website. We're also hosting a second webinar on Friday, February 6th this week at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So if any of your colleagues were not able to attend today, please ask them to contact us so they can join on Friday.